are on the line. So my relationship with God is how I stay positive. And one of the greatest gifts he's given me is the unconditional love that I have for people in need. You have to care about people who's less fortunate than you are. So I pray that Congress will do the same. And as she said, my mother, who turned 80 years old last Thanksgiving, we threw her a big party. She was so surprised. But I pray to God that I'll be around to see her celebrate 85 or even to turn 90 years old if things change for the better. And what a blessing that will be. So God's timing is always perfect. And I know that now is our time. So on behalf of all home care workers, I ask you, please pass the investment in care and give us all the respect, the protection, and the pay that we deserve for the service that we give on a daily basis. We really don't care what Congress knows. We want to know that they care. So if you see that we have a need, please meet it. If you feel that we have a hurt, then please heal it. And if you see a problem that we have, please solve it. So as I take a step away, let me leave you with this, a small piece of knowledge or nugget. Everyone wants to be great, but the service that you give to others is what makes you great. So we're going to continue as home care workers to hold up the blood-stained banner. And we're going to hold it up until we have the VICTORY. Thank you kindly, and God bless you.
Deborah said that we will have the victory, and I believe it. Do y'all believe it? Yeah, that's right. So now we are going to hear from Senator Bob Casey. Senator Bob Casey is the senior United States Senator from Pennsylvania, a seat that he has held since 2007. Senator Casey serves on the Finance Committee, the Help Committee, and the Select Committee on Intelligence. As chairman of the Special Committee on Aging, Senator Casey has led efforts to ensure that our older and disabled Americans have the resources and support that they need. In Congress, Senator Casey is one of the most visible proponents of investments in home and community-based services. He's our champion. And he is our champion in the Senate of the Better Care, Better Jobs Act. Let's give it up for Senator Casey.
Thank you, Senator. So much. Thank you. Appreciate it. Well, thanks, everyone. Hey, I want to thank you for a couple things. First of all, thanks for this weather. How'd you pull this off? I'm going to give credit to Jen, and she will share the credit with you. I'm sure she will. But thanks so much, because now more than ever, across not just the nation, but here in Washington especially, care can't wait. There's no question about that. And I want you to know something. Because of your work, because of your passion, because of your determination, because of your willingness to really put your own lives at the front of this debate and tell your stories, the stories of workers, the stories of people they serve, people with disabilities, seniors, families. Because of all that, we came really close at the end of 2021. I'm not here to recount that history, but that would not have happened. We would not be at the point at the end of 2021 where we could line up as many votes as we had for the policies we're trying to enact into law, to bring about policy that will lead to better care for Americans, better jobs for Americans, and not just any old job, a job where you can join a union, where you have the right to collectively bargain for your wages and your benefits as part of a team. So I want to thank you for that. Now, getting close is nice, not good enough though. We've got to get this done because care can't wait. Care can't wait for those families. Care can't wait for the work that is done by so many people here and so many that you represent across the country. When I consider the work that you all do and those you represent here today, I know each one of you represents many tens of thousands of Americans when you bring your voice and your presence to Washington. But the dignity of that work, the value of that work in and of itself is so important. We can't even estimate. There is no price you could put on the value of your work for a family. And I know there are other people up here over many, many years who say it's more important to rig the tax code for big companies and wealthy Americans. That's been happening too long, too long. And then when it comes to our workers, seniors, people with disabilities, our children who need so much help on so many fronts, our families, too often when that debate comes to them, they say, we don't have the time for that. They say, we don't have the money for that. Funding is really tight. Funding's not tight. It's your willingness to put up the resources that are necessary to lift up America, to lift up our families, and to empower the workers that are providing that essential, heroic care. So I want you to know something. I am very determined, as you are, and we are not getting weary. We are getting stronger every day. We're going to get this done. God bless you, because care can't wait. Thank you.
Thank you so much to Senator Casey. I am now so excited to introduce Senator Kirsten Gillibrand. For all my New York folks, Senator Gillibrand has served as a senator for New York since 2009, and previously as the representative for New York's 20th Congressional District from 2007 to 2009. Senator Kirsten Gillibrand serves on the Senate committees on Armed Services and Agriculture, and she's our champion. She's a champion for the economic empowerment of women and working families, and we are proud to stand beside her, and we're proud to be in movement with her, and she is a lead of the Domestic Worker Bill of Rights in the Senate. So let's give it up for Senator Kirsten Gillibrand. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Well, it's really exciting to be here this morning on this gorgeous day. I want to thank Ai-jen Poo for her incredible leadership at the National Domestic Workers Alliance and Caring Across Generations. Also actor Steve Way for being here. Fatima Gross-Graves, who I've worked with as the National Law Center on many issues. Josie Calapenny, who's the Executive Director of Family Values at Work. Kristen Rowe Finkbeiner, Executive Director and CEO of Moms Rising. These are just some of the leaders that are here. All of you are leading this movement. All of you are making a difference. All of you are using your voice to make sure that these issues are not ignored. If we don't fight for what we believe in, they are ignored. We are not the powerful. We are not the wealthy. We are not the ones who walk these halls of Congress and force our will on Congress members through campaign donations. We are the people. We are the people who can amass at the voting booth, who can actually be heard with the same voice as any billionaire in America, because our vote is as strong as their vote. So that's why we are organizing, so that we can be heard, so we can be listened to, and so we can put our goals into action. Now, the last 2.5 years have been terrible for domestic workers. It has not been an easy time. So many people have lost their jobs. So many people have lost their income. So many people have lost their health and ability to do their jobs. And so it's been a crippling time for many, many domestic workers. Over 91% of domestic workers are women, mostly immigrants and women of color. Even though domestic workers are one of the fastest growing workforces in the country, they've been historically excluded from worker protections. As a result, people often have to work long hours, hard hours, frequently subject to exploitation and abuse. Over 1/3 of domestic workers don't get meal or rest breaks. That is outrageous. It's unconscionable, and it's not fair. How are you supposed to provide for your clients and do the services that you are doing without the ability to stay strong and healthy? 76% receive no pay if their employer cancels on them after they show up for work. and 23% do not feel safe at work. So these are the people that we trust, our aging parents, our children, our infants, people we love the most are so dearly loved. And the people who help our family members with disabilities so they can live with independence and dignity. They're people who clean our homes, make sure our houses are safe. They are the people who make it possible for millions of Americans to be able to go to work and get a paycheck to provide for their families and have peace of mind that their loved one at home is safe. But we can't talk about domestic workers without also talking about the people who work in home and community-based services. These are the personal care aides, the home health aides, the nursing assistants who care for those with functional limitations such as older adults and people with disabilities. And in recent years, these direct care workers have seen their responsibilities and demands skyrocket, not only because of the pandemic, but because of the result and needs of our aging population. According to projections, the number of adults 65 and older will nearly double in the coming decades, while the number of adults who are over 85 will almost triple. To address these programs, that's why we have the bill, the Domestic Workers Bill of Rights. This Bill of Rights will make sure we close all the loopholes that exclude domestic workers from federal, labor, and civil rights laws. The bill would create new benefits and protections for our domestic workers, and it would require employers to provide a written agreement about pay, duties, schedules, breaks, and time off policies. This Bill of Rights would also create new supports for domestic workers, including training opportunities, paid time off, health care, and retirement savings. It will strengthen support networks for domestic workers who are survivors of workplace sexual assault and harassment. Now, I have fought for more money for Medicaid's home and community-based services funding as well. This will allow aging individuals and people with disabilities to remain at home and lead the independent lives while strengthening the direct care workforce that makes it possible. Domestic and direct care workers do the work that makes all other work possible. And these workers deserve the same protections and benefits as every other worker in America. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for organizing, and thank you for not giving up. Now is the moment for us to rise and to never stop fighting.
Y'all, we have so many of our champions here with us today. The next person I'm pleased to introduce is Congresswoman Brenda Lawrence. Congresswoman Lawrence has represented Michigan's 14th congressional district since 2015. She's the vice chair of the House Appropriations Committee and a member of the Committee on Government Oversight and Reform. Congresswoman Lawrence serves as co-chair of the Democratic Women's Caucus and second vice chair of the Congressional Black Caucus. Let's give it up for Congresswoman Lawrence.
I want to say hello to all of you, and most of all, thank you. I love your slogan, "It's our time." And what we need to make the people who vote to understand that it is our time, and how we make our time work is that we pay attention, we get involved, and we vote for people who will get the job done for us. I'm Congresswoman Brenda Lawrence, and I proudly represent Michigan's 14th District. I'm honored to be here today with you, the National Domestic Workers Alliance, and our incredible care workers and domestic workers. Throughout the pandemic, our courageous home care and child care workers, you put your lives on the line. And I want you to know that during the pandemic, it was such a heightened awareness of how our society is so dependent upon you and what you do every day. I've been bearing, and you have been bearing the brunt of this pandemic, and we're coming out. But guess what? The people who were there, keeping this country and our society going, as we continue to come out and move on, we cannot leave you behind. We must take care of our domestic workers. That's why I'm fighting for historic investments in home care, child care, and paid leave. Now, I want you to know it is not lost on me that black and brown women are the backbone of make up the majority of our care and domestic workers. And they are earning poverty level wages. So let's be very clear about this. When we talk about compensation for you, compensation for care and domestic workers, your work, we will not accept substandard work. You show up, you do the work, you take care of us. Why are we being so disrespectful and not paying you a wage that you can go home and take care of your families? It's time for that to stop. And I'm with you on that. So you need a dignified and livable wage. That means that when you check out at the end of the day, when you go home, you can look your family in the eye and give them a quality of life. I grew up on the east side of Detroit, and I was a close and personal friend of Aretha Franklin. And whenever I speak to you all, I want to remind you of something she taught me and the rest of the world. When she said, what you want. And I can say to my members in the House and the Senate, baby, we got it. And what you want is a little respect, a respect in your pay, respect in your benefits, respect in honoring you as who you are, and that is the backbone of this country. I want you to know that care cannot wait. It's our time, and let's get the work done. And I'm here to tell you that I'm on the battlefield fighting for you and to make sure that America respects those who respect us. Thank you so much.
All right. You all, I am really excited to introduce Congresswoman Jan Schakowsky. Congresswoman Schakowsky has represented Illinois' 9th Congressional District since 1998. She serves in the House Democratic leadership as a senior chief deputy whip. She serves as the chair of the Consumer Protection and Commerce Subcommittee on House Energy and Commerce Committee and is a member of the House Budget Committee. Congresswoman Schakowsky joined Congresswoman Dingell in introducing the Better Care, Better Jobs Act in the House. Everyone give it up for Congresswoman Schakowsky. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, my brothers and sisters. I want to say a special shout out to Jan Schakowsky and the National Domestic Workers Alliance and the Care Can't Wait Coalition. And here we are again because we're going to keep fighting because care can't wait. There's no, you know, there are over 850,000 people who are on the waiting list right now in our country. We're talking about seniors and people with disabilities and people who just need a little more help to be able to stay in their homes. People are staying out of the workplace because they have to be home taking care of loved ones and not able to even go to work. And when it comes to care workers, we have a shortage. And isn't it a surprise that we have a shortage when you know that home care workers make an average of only $12 an hour? We have to make sure that we pay home care workers what they are worth because this is heart and soul work. This is work that is blessed. That is a blessing to people. And they want to do this work, but we have to make sure that they themselves are paid a living wage. So we have to keep on fighting. care workers and domestic workers are the backbone of our economy. That is why I am not giving up. Are you with me? We're going to keep fighting. Okay, the House has already done its work, and now we are calling about for the Senate also to join us. We can do this, and I know that because as a lifetime organizer and mobilizer, I know that when we fight, we win. When we fight, okay, and it's in Espanol, it's cuando luchamos, ganamos. All right, we can do this. Let's do it. Thank you.
Thank you, Congresswoman. I am so pleased to introduce our #1 HCBS champion in the House of Representatives, Congresswoman Debbie Dingell. Everybody give it up. Congresswoman Dingell has represented Michigan's 12th district since 2015. She serves in House leadership as a co-chair of the Democratic Policy and Communications Committee. She's a member of the Energy and Commerce Committee and the Natural Resources Committee. As the House champion of the Better Care, Better Jobs Act, she has served as a tireless advocate for long-term care so that seniors and people with disabilities can get the care that they need and so that home care workers can have good jobs. That's what we want, right? So let's give it up for Congresswoman Dingell.
Good morning. Care can't wait. Care can't wait. You know why it's so important that you're here? First of all, it's great to be here with all of you. We got so close to the finish line, and then we got kicked back. And it's so important that all of you are here because you put the human face on the story of how many people need care across the country. And care of the loved one that you care for makes all other work possible. This is real for me. This is why this has become a passion. Some of you have heard my story. I was married to a great man, the love of my life for almost 40 years. His brain, by the way, he was there every moment until the moment he died. And by the way, the day he died, he said to me, his father was the author of Social Security and the first introducer of universal health care. And he made me promise I would get universal health care for every American across the line. And that is another fight we must do. The pandemic has shined a light on how broken the healthcare system is and the care system is. And we got to put the human face on it because we all know we're living it. I'm luckier than 99 9/10 of the people in this country. And the first time he got really sick, I'm supposed to know how to make a system work. You know, I'm trying to navigate. I would get so desperate. 90 days and that's it. Who do you call? How do you find help? How do you find somebody that you can trust to take care of the person that you love so you can go to work? And you think about how many people are struggling with that every day, from the mother with the child to somebody like me with a husband that you love or a parent or a sibling. 90 days, that's it, and you're kicked off. There's no money to help, and we do not pay workers what they are worth, period. You learn that workers, I had some of that, they're members of my family. They are still members of my family. They will always be members of my family. But they would be working 2, 3 jobs a week, still living below the poverty line, no benefits, and by the way, because they're walking in and out of different places, they become, not willingly, They're virus carriers, and nobody gives a damn about whether they're healthy or they have health care or they have what they need. They don't. That's why your being here matters. When I think of how desperate I would get, how I would, knock my head against the wall and I would call in. How many of you punch numbers and all you get is automated voices and you can't get through to anybody? I finally gave up and called my Congresswoman, me. And even then, you just don't know how awful it is. Every American who has worked hard all their life deserves the right to stay in their own home, in the community that they want, and have access to the health care they need and afford their medicine, period. And every other industrialized nation does this. So it's time. So you guys, you know why it matters? Because you got to go in and you got to kick the ass of those that represent you and get them to understand what is at stake. You got to put the face on. You got to get them to know that people they are representing need help and that you've got a right to have a decent living wage so that you can take care of those people that people want taken care of. So I thank you for being here today, but you've got a job ahead. And it's a tough job. We got to get this over the finish line. My partner, Senator Bob Casey in the Senate, is working it hard. We can get it through the House. You're hearing from my House colleagues. I see Senator Ron Wyden behind me. I know he's working hard. We have to get this over the finish line. The time is now. Care can't wait. Care can't wait. Care can't wait. Please go out there, get people behind you. Let's deliver the message, and let's get the care that those we love deserve and get you the benefits you need. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Congresswoman. I am pleased to announce our next speaker. Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal has represented Washington's 7th District since 2017. She is the first South